Hello and welcome back to another one of my videos, but as you might be able to see, this is not a video in The Sims 4, and I'll get back onto the reason why that is later. I just want to say, if all goes according to plan, this should be the first video after my major revamp on my channel, changing it to Orange Plum Bobs. And the reason that I'm doing that is because most of the stuff I do post is Sims 4 or just Sims related, obviously this being an exception, and I wanted to show people who are new to the channel that I do lots of Sims stuff, so a related name might help in that, and also just giving my channel a brand. And I'm really happy with the new intro and outro that I've made for this channel. I think they're really cool. I animated it all myself, so I'm really excited to see that how that looks in the video. So why I'm getting onto this, although I'm doing lots of Sims related stuff, I think it would be cool just to have sort of a video that's not really related to The Sims, but still about games that I love, most of which are creative gameplay surrounding games. And this game, Rollercoaster Tycoon 3, is one of them. And Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 was an amazing game from my childhood. It's one that I certainly put the most number of hours into, if not this, Rollercoaster Tycoon 2, but this is just, this one especially, because you can ride the rides, and it's just sort of an updated one. You've got the Soaked and Wild expansion packs, and it was just such a brilliant game. I put so many hours into it, and absolutely loved it. And coming out this autumn, hopefully, is a brand new game made by Frontier, who developed Rollercoaster Tycoon 3, called Planet Coaster, and that game looks absolutely incredible. I'm going to play that a hell of a ton, and I might make some videos on that also, but I figured, as Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 is what now, it's sort of, I don't know, about 14 years old, maybe 13 years old, and obviously it's nearing the end of its gameplay life, but you can still get so much out of this game. And as fewer people are going to be playing this and more Planet Coaster, I just wanted to make an utterly amazing park in it to show what you really can do in this game, and sort of give it a send-off with all best intentions. And that's why I'm making a video of this park. This park I actually started quite a while ago, actually in the summer of 2014, when I found it on my shelf, and I was like, I remember this game, I want to play it a ton. And so I built most of this park back in summer 2014, but after seeing all the Planet Coaster gameplay earlier this year, I decided to get back into this park, finish it off, and then I decided to make a video of it ready for YouTube, so this is what you're seeing now. What you have just seen is the first roller coaster that I built in this park, and it's, I can't remember the name of it, it's something like the Runaway Mine Train Coaster. It wasn't a very imaginative name. It might be the Runaway Express. I think that's what that sign says. I can't quite read it because I'm watching this in a smaller window. But this sort of goes around the area, around the pine trees. This area sort of might seem a bit confusing to those of you who know the game, because you've seen the scenery that I've been using, and it's in the Western style. And I just thought that worked quite well with a log cabin or log fella-esque theme. And that was the part of the park that I just... Because for this park I wanted to have themes that weren't necessarily what the game dictated the themes should be, because that's something that people have been doing in Planet Coaster. And that first area was based around sort of Canada, and lots of lakes and pine trees, and I used apple trees, but the red leaves for maple trees. And it's got that mine train coaster going around it because sort of reminded me of the old coal mines that you used to get in Canada. So I really love that area. Got some music playing in it in-game, and it just brings the area all together. This roller coaster we're currently on is actually called Wildcat, and it's in the sort of South Africa grassland theme area. I realised that this is sort of a theme that's already built into the game on the safari aspect, but I wanted to get a zoo in here because it was one of the big features, well, it was the main feature of one of the expansion packs, but I still sort of played around with it, adding little gorges and grassy areas, and of course this roller coaster, which is really based around the theme of a wildcat, or not really a wildcat, a leopard or something chasing down its prey, and that's why it goes through all these tight corners and down into these gullies, just going after it and after it. You've got some moments of more quiet or more slowly paced areas just where Wildcat is regaining its stamina, and then you get these awesome boosts of energy. It was also quite inspired by a roller coaster I went on at Busch Gardens Tampa, which was called Cheetah Hunt, so that was really the main theme of this roller coaster. Obviously there are a few trees that clip into you in this game, but I decided to just roll with it because that was a part of Rollercoaster Tycoon 3. You take people's heads off, not actually, but with trees, and that was quite a funny bit. And here is something I thought I'd also put into this video. It's a tour of the sort of like safari zoo area in this park. This footage is sped up twice because it's quite a slow area, but I figured that I'd just put this on because it's quite cool, and you get to see all the animals, some of which we do run over because of the collision controls in this game. So some of the animals we might go into when the car actually meant to stop, but it just didn't detect them in enough time because of pathing issues. But going around here, this big enclosure right in the corner of the park was an enclosure for some of the, there's like quite a few of the herbivorous animals that aren't going to eat each other, so it's actually like a bigger African plain. And I've got so many zookeepers working on this area. In fact, there was one that actually just walked right through the lorry. So yeah, that's that collision area going in. But you can see if this was in 1 times speed instead of 2 times speed, which it's in now, it would have been a very slow trip, so that's why I did this. Going through the panther enclosure, I don't actually think panthers are native to the savannah, but I just wanted to get them in there anyway. I tried to get every animal in, obviously. Some animals weren't really easy to get in because they require different habitats, such as pandas and polar bears, so I don't have those in there, for example. Here are some of the larger herbivores like hippos. Oh, there was actually a panda. Like hippos, rhinos, and camels, I think. And then just going back through a tunnel underneath the main area in this car to get back to the station, through another gully and round the corner into the nice colonial-style architecture that you got from the Dutch, who owned South Africa. Well, I don't want to say owned, but who had colonies in South Africa for quite a long time. And just another shot of the main savannah area before moving on into a sort of like cove jungle area. Now, this is something I've really wanted to be able to make in a game for quite a while, is a jungle-like area. But the thing was, in Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 there weren't really the trees that you get in a jungle, so I decided to make it a tropical jungle. So I've got all the adventure palm tree styles, well, that makes no sense, all the adventure style palm trees around this area. And this is another, this is sort of the biggest roller coaster in the park. I can't remember what I called this either. This is awful. But it was something like Temple Run. All of these roller coasters are individually named. In fact, every single ride in the park is individually named. But this one is quite fun. It's got the ride events like that one you just saw with the temple, and then we're going round. This is just sort of the first area in the roller coaster before we go into a tunnel and then up the main chain lift to go right through the jungle round the cove. So yeah, varying on the base themes in the park. There's sort of a mix of the Atlantis and adventure themes to make sort of jungle ruins up in the mountains, then coming down these big drops into the gullies with water in the bottom, sort of flooded mountain-esque like escape. Just a really varied, dense jungle area. Coming back over the top and round past the waterfalls over the cove. I thought this was a really cool, unique feature of this roller coaster. Then going back round up this diagonal before coming into a brake section, just to slow the coaster down a bit, give you time to catch your breath, and also give the roller coasters behind a chance to move on, because this roller coaster works on block brake sections, so that way I can get more people on the ride at the same time. The way that works in Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 was if you could either have it on I can't remember what the first one was called, it might have been continuous, and the second option was called block brakes. And the way in continuous it would work was you could have any number of cars with any number of like rows of seats in it, so long as they all fit into the station. But with block brakes you could have your train could be as long as the station, for example, but you could only have as many trains as there were block brake sections on the track, and that includes chain lifts. So I decided to go for this version, and have more block brake sections so you could get more people in here. Here's another cool little ride that I don't think I ever put in any other park apart from this one right at the end, is the squeaky cycles. I remember I used to put these all around my parks in Rollercoaster Tycoon 2, so that's sort of a slight little nod to that. It's just a really fun ride. Guests would sit on the cycle and they just pedal their way around the track. When there's an uphill section, they get on the chain lift. So it's a really fun aspect, and this is just a canopy treetop adventure around the back of the mountain through the jungle trees, going down and past around the other sections of the track. You also get really good views of the rest of the park. You can see to the left is the swamp area that we will be going to in the final part of the video. Coming round here is Lazy River, and up on the other side of this little mountain section is the swimming pool and all the flumes. For some reason the flumes weren't starting and I tried to get first person views on them, so there are none of that, but I also put the pool in this area because it's tropical themed, and I wanted to get that sort of nod to the Soaked expansion pack in there to just once again show what this game was capable of, and still is, because it's utterly amazing. I'm still in love with this game. Here's the final area, the swamp area, that I put in recently when I started playing this game again earlier this year, and the theme of the swamp is something that I wanted to do right from playing it in 2014. I just never got round to it. I can't remember why I stopped playing on this park, but yes, I did this, and I'm not sure I was sure back then how I was going to do this one, but I just started by lowering some land, filling up the water, and then plonking these spooky trees with adventure bushes all around them, so they look like big, overgrown trees with really gnarled roots and stuff you'd see in a swamp. I didn't actually put any mangrove bushes in there, which would have been appropriate, but oh well. And another thing to mention, of course, this is a roller coaster we're going on. It's a big wooden coaster in the park, and this one I do remember the name of. It's called Grendel, named after the mythological monster from what's called perhaps the very first horror story ever invented by the Anglo-Saxons or something, about this big creature, Grendel, who lived in the forests and swamps, and so I thought that was quite fitting for this roller coaster. But anyway, what I was going to say is, because of the large quantity and number of things that I have... Oops, someone's head's going through the ride view. Oh well. Because of the large number and quantity of items in this park, it lags so much at the end now when I look at this park. Like, the actual gameplay lags. What you're seeing isn't lagging because of the way that the game records footage. The inbuilt recording software, which is what I used to film this, otherwise it would have been incredibly laggy, actually plays it at such an incredibly slow speed, at 1 frame a second, and it individually takes a screenshot of every single frame. But it doesn't save the screenshots, it puts them all together once you're finished making the film, all the footage. It puts them together in a video that runs at 60 frames a second, so that is what you are seeing, and that's just a really nice feature in the game for how to get really smooth gameplay footage. Here's another roller coaster in the swamp area. I think this one is just called Swamp Run. It was something I wanted to put in, just a small roller coaster, because occasionally in theme parks you get like a small sub roller coaster in there somewhere, just because it's small and fits in. That's why I chose this Wild Mouse style roller coaster. And of course it's got all the Wild Mouse stereotypical things like the runs at the top, and then some more steep diving dives afterwards. So that was quite fun. But yeah, so what I'm saying about the park lagging is it does lag just because of the sheer number of things that have in this park, but it's still really cool to see everything working together, a full park, and the huge scale number of guests that are in this park. I think it's something like it's definitely over 3,000, which is often unheard of in Rollercoaster Tycoon 3. I know in Planet Coaster they're trying to make it so that the maximum number of guests you can have in the park is somewhere around 22,000, which is going to be insane, but that is what it's more like in real life theme parks. But so after I'd finished filming all this stuff, because I had only seen it in slow frame rate footage before when I was playing the game, it was awesome to see this smooth footage, to see my park working cohesively together in this fast framed video, which is how this game should have been seen, but I just put so much into it. So a few final shots before we also ride the tram around the park. And tram is something that I put in all around the park as a method of transport. It has something like, let me count on my fingers, 1, 2, this is the second one we're coming to, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so it has 6 stations all around the park, which makes it really easy for the guests to go around. I realise we are running over a number of guests. If I can be bothered, I'll put in a death counter in one corner of the screen, just so we can keep track of how many guests we have actually squashed. And if you played Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 and don't know how I managed to get it so that the track goes over the path, I didn't use cheats or anything, or mods or anything. This is something that's actually built into the game through a glitch, and that's if you lower the land underneath the ride 3 sort of mini tiles down and place down a pathway underneath the ride, the path will place fine, and then you can lift that piece of land up again underneath the ride and the path will remain there, but it will also be directly underneath the ride. So that's how I managed to get a ride piece going over a number of pathways. It just gives this really cool look to the park, sort of like Disneyland Main Street, like the tram is meant to be on the paths, and that was sort of a really cool feature, especially in the main street area of this park. Coming through into the cove area here again, really cool to see the palm trees and just going over the rickety bridges before coming into this big cabana house, and then going off once again into their tunnels. This area was quite difficult to get to the tram to, that's why I tunneled it. We just go through this big long tunnel before coming out into the swamp area, underneath the Grendel coaster, and over more rickety bridges, past all the creepy trees. That was something else I tried to do in the swamp area. Obviously I couldn't just have swamp like falling down cabana buildings and stuff, so I decided to also put in spooky castles and spooky houses, just to use the sub-theme of this inbuilt spooky theme, just to bring it all together. So at the end of this tram ride, that pretty much finishes the park. So I want to thank you all very much for watching. I hope that you do have fond memories of this park, this game, as much as I do. I hope you really enjoyed this park, and let me know if you want to see more random videos like this in the future. So thank you very much for watching, and goodbye.